Now I'm going to talk about something very, very important in SQL and in databases in general, and that's the concept of a prime key. Now every table has a prime key, and I'll show you the prime key in this table. I'm going to take my query and I'm going to convert it back to the very basic form it was a little while ago, where it was just all columns and all rows. So we want all rows, so I'm going to get rid of my where clause, and I'm going to get rid of the cut down selection of columns and just put in asterisk and execute that, and there's the entire column. Now every table and every row on every table has a prime key. What is a prime key? A prime key is some value that uniquely identifies that record in the table. I'll say that again. A column of values where that value uniquely identifies that row on that table. Operative word is unique. Now to demonstrate, I'm going to let you in a little secret. The prime key of this table is business entity ID. It is common practice that the leftmost column, the first defined column, the one you first see on the left hand side when you select all the columns, the practice is the prime key is put there. Now in this case it's called business entity ID. Now it'll become a bit apparent if I sort this table by business entity ID instead of first name as it is here. So I'm just going to change that to business entity ID. Entity ID. I'll just use the IntelliSense there, and I'll execute that, and there we go. Now if we scroll down, we can see that they're completely unique. They're numerics values, and they're ascending as we go down. And if we were to scroll right down to the very bottom, we would see that they're all unique. 241, 242. There's no repeats. They are all unique. I'm not going to make you scroll down all 19,000 rows, but take my word for it, they are all unique. And that is absolutely fundamental. It is basically like an address or any sort of a code that you have when you're dealing with an entity. Like, for example, in this country, Australia, we have tax file numbers where you are dealing with the Australian Tax Office to go lodge a tax return. You have a unique ID being a tax file number. Now, that's got to be unique to you. You can't have two people out there that have the same tax file number. Otherwise, the tax office doesn't know who to send the tax refund to. They could end up sending it to the wrong person, and that wouldn't be good. You'd miss out on your refund. So that's got to be very, very unique. Otherwise, the system doesn't know which record to pick when you tell it to go find that row. And when we start doing queries involving multiple tables, prime keys are going to work in with that, and it's very, very critical. Now, for example, let's say we want to find a person whose name is Brandon, and we're going to pick this guy here, Brandon Hyder Prime, rather unusual name. Let's say I know there's a specific guy in the company that I want to find his telephone number, and I know his name's Brandon Hyder Prime. If I look for, do that query, and I program it to look for where first name is Brandon and last name is Hyder Prime, there may be two Brandon Hyder Primes in the company. For that matter, there might be two Jose Lugos, for example. But I know there's only the specific one that I want. So if I were to tell, I know I want one returned, and if I search for first name is Brandon and last name is Hyder Prime, I may get two or maybe even three returned, and that's not helping me. I only want the one that I'm interested in. And the way to do that is that each record has its own unique identifier. So if I go, hey, never mind the last name and third name, I know his unique code in the company is 35, so I will write a query that says, give me where business identity equals 35, and I'll get the Brandon that I want. So you will always find that in every table, in every database, they will have one row, the one at the far left, that is the prime key, and the value in it is absolutely unique within that table. So let's assume we've established what the prime key is of the record that we're looking for. So let's go write a query to look for that prime key. So I'm going to put create a where clause, make it caps for consistency, and I will type in the condition where business, business entity ID, use the IntelliSense there, equals 35. Now notice that this time I have not enclosed the value in single quotes, and I'll explain why in a minute. But let's just run that, and hey presto, we've got our record. And there will only ever be one. If you specify a prime key value for comparison to the prime key column, you're only going to ever get one record because the prime key is unique. So how can you go about finding out which of the columns, the name of the column in a particular table is the prime key? Now, what you can do is, an option is to go to the front-end application of the system that you are querying and go to a display screen for that you know relates to the table that we are querying, and find the selector field, and that selector field is most likely the prime key. In this case, we've got a display which shows the staff in an organization, and the top left field there is, it actually says key, staff key. So if we hit that drop list, we will find that it enables us to pick a list of unique keys for each person amongst the staff, like so. So that tells us that that staff key field is actually the prime key of the staff table. And quite often, if you hover your mouse pointer over a field, you'll get some sort of a tooltip that will tell you the name of the field. So how can we find the prime key? Well, as we've already seen, there's the browsing the front-end application, but you can also find it by inspecting the data dictionary for the system within which you're working. Now, the data dictionary is a blueprint or floor plan of the database within which you are working. You may be able to obtain that from the vendors of the system that you're querying, or the administrators. And within that document, you should be able to find enough about the tables and the columns to identify the prime key. The reason I have not enclosed that value in quotes is because that column is not a text type of column, it is a numeric type of column. So we're going to have a bit of a discussion about column types.